We've got breaking news out of the NFL where the Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson has waived his no-trade clause for the Cleveland Browns. That's been confirmed by our Jonathan Jones. Watson reportedly signing a new 5-year, $230 million deal, fully guaranteed with the Browns. Watson spent the first 5 years of his career in Houston, but did not play last season, of course, while his legal situation remained up in the air. That is now all cleared up. Let's bring in senior NFL insider Jonathan Jones for the latest. JJ, what is the latest here? Deshaun Watson, we thought Atlanta. We were talking about the New Orleans Saints. But now it appears to be the Cleveland Browns. What's the latest?
Yeah, Jeremy, about a week ago, I had heard, look out for the Cleveland Browns. I said, oh, all right, I'll keep them in mind. And then during the week, it was, okay, look out for the Cleveland Browns. It looked like they were losing this race. Of course, that came out more than a day ago that he had informed the Cleveland Browns that he was not going with the Cleveland Browns. Can't wait necessarily to find out what exactly changed his mind, but there's some breadcrumbs here that we can follow. He informed the Carolina Panthers on Thursday night that he would not go with them. I heard from a team source there in Carolina this morning that Deshaun Watson and his camp wanted a restructured contract, okay, no problem, by the teams, but that the third and the fourth years would have guaranteed money in them. And that was something that David Tepper, the owner, had balked at. That's something that Carolina balked at. And Carolina also couldn't understand if the Watson camp was using that as leverage or if that's really what they wanted. I think by evidence of these numbers that are coming out, this 5-year, $230 million deal, very surely with so much guaranteed money, that this was not just a leverage play. This is absolutely what Deshaun Watson and his representation wanted. And so Cleveland obviously went back to the table, met their demands very clearly with Andrew Berry. I heard from one Cleveland source say, never count out AB. And I said, well, it certainly seems like AB has been counted out by the person who has to make this decision. But here we are right now. I think that things started to come together about an hour ago. And so Deshaun Watson, the mechanics of this, Jeremy, are he is going to waive his no-trade clause for the Cleveland Browns and only the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, Andrew Berry, the general manager, Nick Caserio, the general manager of the Houston Texans, are going to engage in trade talks. I've been told that it may not exactly be the 5 or 6 premium picks that the Texans had been sort of holding out for a while. We will see what that winds up being. I tried to get my hands on that trade compensation. I could not just yet in the moments after this, but Deshaun Watson, for all intents and purposes, is a Cleveland Brown, will essentially become a Cleveland Brown as soon as all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Okay, so JJ, obviously the next question which it leads to is Baker Mayfield. He's the quarterback in Cleveland, requested a trade, was denied that request by the Cleveland Browns, and now Deshaun Watson appears to be coming to town. So what happens with Baker Mayfield?
Well, Baker Mayfield won't be with the Cleveland Browns much longer. He is very likely going to get his wish. He requested his trade. At the time that he requested his trade, very clearly, the Cleveland Browns did not know that they had secured the services of Deshaun Watson. And so the Cleveland Browns said, no, we're not going to acquiesce to your trade request because right now you're the best option that we have at quarterback and you're under contract. So until we get a better option, I'm sorry, but no, we're not going to trade you. And I can honestly tell you that there was not a trade market out there for Baker Mayfield at that time. If the Washington Commanders hadn't made a move for Carson Wentz, perhaps there. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hadn't returned the greatest of all time, perhaps there. But those two things happened, and so there was no trade market for Baker Mayfield. Yes, there had been some calls, but there was no market for Baker Mayfield. And I want to be clear about that. So now that Baker Mayfield is expendable there in Cleveland, where does he end up? I mean, number one, we have to think that he very well could be a part of the deal that Cleveland is sending to the Houston Texans. He would be an upgrade at quarterback over Davis Mills, a guy that they very much like, but still, no question about it, an upgrade there at quarterback. So you can eye that. Perhaps another market now emerges for Baker Mayfield now that teams actually believe that Cleveland will get rid of Baker Mayfield, because the league didn't actually believe they were getting rid of Baker Mayfield. That's another reason the market wasn't there. No one actually thought he was going anywhere because everyone understood that Cleveland wasn't sending him anywhere. Now Cleveland will. So he's either a part of this deal to go to Houston, or he will now have a market that is created for him.
What does Deshaun Watson, the addition of Deshaun Watson, mean for this Cleveland Browns team? I mean, you look at that AFC North now, you've got Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, potentially Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, and Mitchell Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what does the addition of Watson mean for the Browns moving forward in terms of this division and perhaps even a run at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously increases their chances, right? If you believe that this is a Browns team that with a Baker Mayfield who plays above average, who stays healthy, they are a playoff team. That's what we saw 2 seasons ago. Obviously, he had a lot of injuries this past season, and they fell short. But you have an offensive line. You have David Njoku at tight end. You have now Amari Cooper that they traded for. Jarvis Landry still out there. I thought, because I believed at a time that the Cleveland Browns had a pretty good shot at landing Deshaun Watson, that Jarvis would hang on there and take a lesser deal in order to pair with Deshaun Watson. That may still happen. You also have a fantastic running game, of course, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You look on the defensive side, they've been building and building that defense for some time. And now that they have Deshaun Watson, Jeremy, they won't be done here in free agency. This is an important part. The Deshaun Watson decision has held up so much of the league. I've talked with several executives today. We've talked about this exact thing, where let's say he was holding up New Orleans and Atlanta yesterday. He was holding up Carolina and Cleveland. Well, extrapolate that out. Teron Armstead, the left tackle for the New Orleans Saints, he could go to Miami. He could go to the Chicago Bears. Those are 2 other teams that are being held up. You look at the Falcons, who could sign some mid-level free agents, for example, but they had to reserve that money for Deshaun Watson. But you look at the Falcons and Matt Ryan and where he could have wound up. Indianapolis, maybe a Seattle, maybe even a Cleveland. So without exaggeration, the Deshaun Watson decision was holding up at least a quarter of the NFL. Now that the Deshaun Watson decision has taken place, and at some point he will become a Cleveland Brown officially, once all the paperwork is handled and trade is official and physicals are taken, once that happens, we are going to see the rivers start to flow, if you will, with these moves that had been held up for so long.
And now we're off. Senior NFL insider Jonathan Jones joining us to talk about the breaking news. Deshaun Watson waiving his trade clause to go to the Cleveland Browns, as confirmed by JJ. So, I mean, when you look at this jersey, these are all the quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns have had over the last little while, and it looks like Deshaun Watson. I mean, there's space on the right there underneath Baker Mayfield. You see Deshaun Watson. Yeah, 32 since 1999. There we go. And it looks like, yes, Deshaun Watson waiving his no-trade clause to go to the Cleveland Browns. Reports are saying it is a 5-year deal, a brand-new deal for Watson, $230 million fully guaranteed, which is, of course, $80 million more than the previous guaranteed contract.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.